The word itself actually comes from the evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins in his 1976 work, The Selfish Gene, where he abridged the Greek word for imitation into meme. The currency of memes is the fact that you can't really refute them. Their very proliferation makes it a game of, what's that, whack-a-mole. You can sit in your basement with your computer and you can create any image that you want and have it diffused and spread across Facebook, Twitter, 4chan. It's the invention of the printing press 2 generations before the Protestant Reformation in the mid-1400s that really created the ground for memes, because now suddenly the hold on information that the Roman Church had relied on for 1,000 years was broken. The Pope, as a 7-headed dragon, the beast of Armageddon, the whore of Babylon, anybody with a suitcase of type and a gallon of ink could set up at some rural farmhouse with the wine press and in the course of a night duplicate the work of 100 monks in an hour. We jump ahead 600 years and we're in the same sort of information technology revolution. The goal of a political meme is to undercut the authority of a powerful figure in one way or another. In every image of Napoleon, he's seen as shorter than his English enemies. He's depicted as not riding a horse, but a pony. There's a famous political cartoon of "You must be this tall to run for president," and it shows a short Michael Bloomberg standing on sacks of cash. And you take Louis Philippe and turn him into this fat, gormandizing king who's literally eating the labor and the poor offerings of the poor and shitting out honorifics to the wealthy, right? This image that even a semi-literate would have recognized.
Talk about the images of Marie Antoinette and the giant penises.
So this kind of, again, this idea of gormandizing, of libertinism during the French Revolution, for instance, prior to the execution of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, there was frequent iterations of various cartoons of Marie Antoinette depicted in various sexual peccadillos. We now see very ugly memes of Kamala Harris, right? Referencing her being on her back, referencing her being on her knees. A man is greedy, a woman is rapacious. That's how you undercut them. One of the things that caricatures generally, and memes specifically, have proven themselves very good at is this process that we call otherization, right? Turning your enemy into the other, turning them into monkeys, turning them into chimpanzees. We saw this with Obama, right? We get the wildest images. A very specific one of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama portrayed as the apes from the original 1974, I think, Planet of the Apes movie, right? But it's not just with African Americans that this happened. In fact, this has a long tradition. The waves of Irish immigration as a result of the potato famine in the 1840s. The Protestant found a way to address this other that they didn't know how to do by effectively turning them into monkeys. We see that again in World War II with the Japanese. They became more and more ape-like in these cartoons, a way of demonstrating the lack of humanity that these people possessed. And as a consequence, anything we do to them is justified. The problem with turning Trump into a meme is that Trump is almost already himself a garish caricature of a businessman, of a family man, and of a politician. If you really want to look for memes for Donald Trump, you actually have to look for his supporters, where they literally create absolute fantasy. They take a fake billionaire, fake politician, attach his head to a fake fighter, and send it around as an image of a tough guy. In a certain sense, Donald Trump actually rips the Band-Aid off of the idea of the potency of a meme because he himself is nearly simply a meme. for me, the real interesting thing happens in 1620, and ironically it comes from the Catholic side of things as opposed to the Protestant side. In 1620, Martin Luther was depicted in a caricature as a grotesquely fat man, carrying his belly in a wheelbarrow, holding a cup of wine, right, as his poor wife followed behind him, right, admonishing him to take care of his belly. Now, for us today, we might just see that as taking advantage of or poking fun at, a grotesque, bit of somebody being overweight. But in the context of the 17th century, this was an image, a fat man wheeling his belly in a wheelbarrow was a classical cultural trope of the venal grave sin of gluttony. And this is what makes this image arguably the first meme, because it's the first time that really a cultural trope was directly applied to a specific person who was then used to criticize and attack the entire movement of Protestantism as greedy, as overreaching, as gluttonous, stealing souls away from the true church, right? This is what makes it a meme. And we see that replicated time and time again, where cultural and social fears, cultural and social stereotypes are then applied to the person to then criticize not just that person, but what it is that they're supposed to stand for or stand in for.